number 299 in the gray hymnal, Make Channels for the Streams of Love.
Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm the Reverend Manish Mishra-Marzetti, serving our community as senior minister, and we're delighted that you've chosen to be together this morning with one another and with us. Our community has been meeting continuously here in the city of Ann Arbor, Michigan since 1865, helping bring alive a vision of progressive spirituality and what it can mean in the field of religion and ethics and spirituality to have an open and free search for truth and meaning individually as we gather together in community to support one another and do good in the wider world. You've joined us on a very special Sunday on which we will be having a congregational meeting. That congregational meeting will immediately follow what is an abbreviated worship service this morning. All are welcome to stay and be a part of our congregational meeting, in which we'll discuss important matters of business that are before the community. Only those individuals who are members may actually vote on any items that come up for a vote, but all are welcome to learn more about the important matters of governance and our institution that we love so dearly. This morning, as we gather in preparation for our congregational meeting and in the spirit of community and what community can mean to each and every one of us, I'm delighted to be joined in this worship service by Stella Anderson, our Director for Spiritual Growth and Development, Allison Halerz, our Pianist-in-Residence, Mike Halerz, our Technological Consultant, Kristin LeSueur, a member of our Music Ambassadors, serving as our music leader this morning, and members of our Chalice singers. Thank you for being with us. We're grateful we can be here with you. As we begin this morning, members of our congregation's 2050 Vision team have put together a presentation to share some of the important work that we have done over the past year as a community together in bringing alive and in furthering the important vision and priorities that we hold dear together. I'll invite us now to take a few moments as we hear from our Vision 2050 team.
Good morning. I'm Joni Parker from the Vision Support Committee. UUAA's vision priority areas were identified by our collective community about 3 years ago, and since then we've been living into that vision in many ways. Every year around this time, we take a look back over the last 12 months and see what we've done as we've made this journey together. The focus of Vision 2050 this year has been about making connections between ourselves as we collectively make this journey. In our short time this morning, I want to share just a few examples of how groups came together to make a difference while creating those connections. Our Climate Action, Climate Justice team took the lead to help us celebrate Earth Day as a community by reaching out to other groups to celebrate and contribute their energy and interests. Our Friday Fun Night team held an Earth Day program for all ages, which included earthworm ice cream sundaes. After our multi-generational Earth Day Sunday service, the social hour included activities for all ages. The land management team dedicated a new ancestors grove. A new solar plan was introduced by the sustainability team. A beautiful art collection by congregants brightened up our hallways. And the Climate Action, Climate Justice team hosted a gathering table to discuss the new Vision 2050 Climate Action Plan. Our next example comes from the Restorative Justice team at UUAA, who learned that people being released from prison often lack basic supplies. So they asked for help in creating welcome home baskets, and our community rallied to contribute. The Friday Fun Night team provided a craft project for our children, who created love stones with messages of support. Individuals donated new towels and toiletries. And the Fiber Arts group made cozy fleece blankets, which Cecile Bridges will tell us all about.
We started a fiber art group in January of 2021. We are a group under the Pastoral Care. Priscilla came and asked us about helping out to make blankets for the restorative justice, which is a great idea. Quite a few of the people in the group showed up. They brought sewing machines and fabric, and they made 12 blankets. And then we looked around and we had some other extras, pot holders and things like that we have made, and we put those in the baskets too for them, so they get a little bit extra. We all need pot holders.
What a beautiful example of how we pull together to magnify our impact. Our Alpha House team made a small change this year that had big impact. For many years, individual congregants have been preparing food in their homes and delivering it to Alpha House. This year, they tried something different, collective cooks, where groups came together in community to prepare a meal in the UUAA kitchen. Sue and Larry Schweinhardt will tell us about the Food Justice team's collective cook.
Most of the 11 members of our team participated in one way or another. Everybody just sort of came and arrived and were excited, and we had fun.
So it really was a kind of a community effort.
We were making chili and cornbread muffins and salad.
We were happy to meet face-to-face with members of the Food Justice team because we haven't done that very much. We joined the Food Justice team during the pandemic, and we had all of our meetings on Zoom.
We really had a good time meeting the newest member.
And we took this big pot of chili in our car.
Enough for 20 people. It was the biggest pot I've ever seen.
But I think we did okay. We didn't spill any chili.
The Spiritual Growth and Development team also held a collective cook. Children and their parents prepared a weekend breakfast for Alpha House, and then they sat down and enjoyed a breakfast together at UUAA. These collective cooks showcase how small changes can have a big impact within our congregation. True Hope and Kaleidoscope, who provide community for our LGBTQIA+ youth and adults, have reached out to the entire congregation many times this year, inviting us all into their circle of love with seminars, movies, bonfires, picnics, and scavenger hunts. These teams are helping us live into radical welcome. Many other groups at UUAA have focused their work on the vision priority areas as well. Check out the newsletter and online calendar for upcoming opportunities. For example, the Anti-Racism, Anti-Oppression Coordinating Team is inviting us to participate in multiple events to celebrate Juneteenth, the national holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States. And today's celebration would not be complete without expressing deep appreciation for the worship team. Every Sunday, they've woven our vision into our spiritual journey with intention and inspiration. In short, it's been a great year for Vision 2050. We've made it happen together. We've invited each other into the journey and been nourished by each other's company and wisdom, and we are in motion.
What a beautiful thing it is to be together in community, furthering the good work of building a world we know our hearts long for and need. In that spirit, I want to invite you to take just a moment to find a place of centering and stillness in your hearts as we gather ourselves in the spirit of worship. I invite you to hear these familiar words by George Odell entitled, "We Need One Another." We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our very best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and we know that we cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs with. We need one another in the hour of defeat when with encouragement we might endure and stand yet again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All through our lives, we are in need and others are in need of us. Such is the spirit of community. We are gathered for worship.
This morning, as we celebrate the good works of our community, as we lift up our shared vision for the future, we also honor our legacy as people of love and action with one of our most cherished rituals, the lighting of our chalice. The resilient flame reminds us of our ties to the past, to our ancestors, as well as to the future, to those that will carry on the quest for justice and peace in our world. This morning, I am delighted to invite our song leader, Kristin LeSueur, and her daughter, Liara, to light our chalice. For those of you that are worshiping from home, I invite you to light a chalice of your own and share your location with us in the chat, or just write "chalice lit" that we may be together, if not in body, then in spirit. Together let us say, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you. Another way that we begin our time together is by reciting the words of our covenant. We are not a creedal faith, but are bound instead by our relationships with one another, by a shared commitment to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and to always lead with love and compassion. Our covenant is a reminder that we are a part of a beloved community. So whether you're joining us for the first time or whether you have these words memorized, please join me as we say together, the spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together into peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another. A few weeks ago, we dedicated our new Ancestors' Grove with our communion, dirt, and water. And now the beautiful oak trees are planted and thriving, a living reflection of our past, present, and future. Our vision work is not just about the world we want to make for our children and their children, but it's also about honoring the legacy of those that came before us. Our story for all ages celebrates love across generations. The More You Give, written by Marcy Campbell, illustrated by Francesca, Sanna. Once there was a wide open field and a boy who loved his grandmother, who loved him back, and they were happy. The grandmother gave the boy many gifts, like big hugs and bigger laughter and the very biggest Sunday morning pancakes. But she had more to give. Small gifts like acorns, tiny and shiny with wild and woolly caps. Most of the gifts she gave to the boy were ones that he could not hold in his hands, like all of her wisdom about how things grow. The boy watched and wondered until one day, oh, a new tree is sprouting. When will it be bigger than me, he asked, as he dreamed of swings and secret spaces. In reply, his grandmother gave him another gift, patience. The boy had a birthday, and the tree reached his knees. The boy had a birthday, and the tree reached his shoulders. The boy's grandmother had a birthday, and he gave her many gifts, like a poem, a picture, a crown, and most of all, his love. And she loved him back, and they were happy. Until one day, he lost his grandmother. Oh. Slowly, slowly, happiness spread its roots again. The boy's grandmother had taught him to ask for help when he needed it, and so, remembering, he did. He watered and weeded while he watched and wondered. He grew tall with wondering, still dreaming of swings and secret spaces, but not for himself. Once, there was a not-so-wide open field and a girl who loved her father, who loved her back, and they were happy. The father gave the girl many gifts, like piggyback rides and plump strawberries and bedtime stories about his grandmother. He also gave the girl acorns, tiny, shiny things with wild and woolly caps. But he had more to give, like all of his wisdom about how things grow. When will it be bigger than me? The girl asked. And he explained how love, even when given to the smallest of things, can spread up and out and grow bigger than she could ever imagine. Together, they watered and weeded, and in time they found shade, a home, and strong, thick branches that were perfect for, oh. They watched and waited and wondered. The girl grew and the trees grew and their love grew and spread up and out while the girl dreamed of secret spaces, but not for herself. Once there was a field dotted with trees and a boy who loved his mother, who loved him back, and they were happy. The boy's mother gave him pancakes made from her great-grandmother's recipe, topped with strawberries from her father's patch, and hugs and laughter and piggyback rides and bedtime stories about their family and its love of green, growing things. The boy's mother gave him acorns, and together they planted and watered and weeded and watched and wondered. From their secret space, which wasn't very secret, the boy and his mother shared their wisdom with anyone and everyone about how things grow, like trees and people and kindness. The boy always had more love to give, and he got love in return. Was it bigger than him? It was. It was much bigger than he had ever imagined, and that is why he was happy. Once, there was a forest. The end.
Stella, thank you for that beautiful story. From a single acorn to a forest, a grove. Isn't this what we do together in community? Coming together from our individual and singular journeys, becoming the forest ourselves. And I love the beauty of the imagery that it's never just in service to ourselves. It's in continuity, in connection with the generations that are beneath us and still to come. It's in that spirit that this past week, as I was contemplating today's service on the theme of community, I was talking to my spouse, Jeff, and my daughter overheard me talking about the theme of community and that we'd be focusing on that this week. And she said enthusiastically, "Daddy, it's Pride Month. You should talk about pride." And ran and got this book out for me. It's a book that is from her school library, her elementary school library. It's entitled, "This is Our Rainbow, Stories of Her, Him, Them, and Us." She said, "Daddy, pride is about community. You should talk about pride and Pride Month." And I thought, yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can manage that. And first off, I just want to pause and notice that if we were in the state of Florida, this book would be banned. This book would not be available in the public elementary school where my children go. And it is such a source of pride and comfort to me that we live where we do, in Southeast Michigan, in Washtenaw County, in Ann Arbor, in this region, where we live into our values of inclusivity and acceptance, a broader sense of community. First, that is a beautiful thing, and in this time, in this day and age, we cannot take it for granted. I began flipping through this book that my daughter handed me and came upon a short story called Devon's Pod by Mariama Lockington. It's one of the stories contained in this anthology. A beautiful, beautiful story that I'd like to share a little bit of with you. The main character is named Devon, or Dev Parker, a middle school-aged young woman who is growing up in Metro New York City and is absolutely in love with marine biology. So sprinkled throughout this short story are fun facts about marine animals along the lines of, did you know a group of whales is called a pod? Pods consist of a bunch of whales that are biologically connected, but pods can also form through friendship developed by two or more whales. Or perhaps another fun fact, did you know sea otters can live their whole lives without leaving the water? And to keep from drifting apart from their pod when they're asleep, they fall asleep holding hands. Such is the context and the life of Devin Parker. And as the story continues to unfold, we learn that Devin has two very best of friends that are her personal pod, another young woman named Elle and a young man named Marcel. They've known each other since they were young, and they've grown up together and are now in these awkward middle school years. There's also Devin's mom, who is a flight attendant and frequently not at home. And therefore, Devin spends a lot of time and is nurtured and mentored by her grandma, who she calls Nana Billy. Nana Billy is fierce and loves to say that the women of the Parker household are independent and special. They carve their own path, their own destinies. So as this story unfolds, Elle, Marcel, and Dev, we start out seeing the joy of their shared friendship, but something has changed in these early adolescent years. Elle and Marcel are dating and in love with one another. Devin starts to understand and recognize this change in her pod, in this set of relationships, and she's jarred and a bit shaken and feels excluded. She also starts to wonder whether anyone will love her and care for her and be interested in her the way her two good friends, Elle and Marcel, are currently interested in each other. It's in the midst of feeling very distraught about this that her grandma, Nana Billy, walks in and sees her screaming into a pillow with tears and with frustration. And her Nana says, "All right, come on, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go somewhere you've never been before. Grab your swimming suit, grab some towels, I'm gonna pack some food." And they go to a place I haven't heard of before, Reese Park Beach in Queens. This is where our story picks up. We're at Reese Park Beach in Queens, which Nana Billy tells me is the people's beach. What people, I ask? Well, people like us, says Nana. Black people? Yes, and people who love who they want to love. You mean gay people? Yes, gay, bisexual, lesbian, queer, I think, is the word some of you young folk are using. In my time, that word was a slur, but now I hear it's been reclaimed. I don't know what to say. I look around the part of the beach we're on. At first, I just see families with kids. Then I realize I'm not seeing everything. Two women splash in the water ahead of us. One dips the other as if they are dancing. Then they kiss and dive under the waves. Wow, is all I can manage to think. You can go explore a little if you want, says Nana. Just don't go in the water unless you're over here in front of me, and stay on the path if you go down to the other end, and take your phone with you too. I nod. I'm warm on the sand next to Nana Billy. I'm a little scared to leave her side. I can't believe she brought me to a gay beach, but then again, Nana Billy said it the best. Parker women follow their own path. I walk away from the sounds of toddlers running, screaming into the water toward the sound of music, of laughter, of more brown and black bodies glistening in the heat. All over the sand, people are sitting in little pods, eating strawberries, drinking canned beverages from coolers, standing and dancing on blankets. I watch this beach full of colorful clusters, arms and legs splayed out in various configurations, and all at once, I know what I need to do. I pull out my phone and text my friends, Elle and Marcel. I write to them, "We're regenerating." Elle responds right away, and my stomach flips just knowing that she's still there for me. Elle says, "Hi, "We miss you. What do you mean, regenerating?" Marcel says, "Say what now?" I try to quiet the pounding in my chest, even if I don't understand all the parts that make me, me yet. And even though it hurts that Elle isn't my person, at least I know I'm not alone. At least I have this beach, my friends, and Nana Billy. Dev writes, "I think maybe we're not a pod anymore. I think we may be more like a constellation of starfish, like we're regrowing ourselves into something new. I'm not mad at either of you. I just have some stuff I need to tell you both about me. Meet you at the park tomorrow? Talk then?" Elle writes back, "Yes, we have so much to tell you too. Also, starfish are extra cute, cuter than whales, to be honest." Marcel writes, "You're always so deep with fact bombs, Dev. Sure, I'll be there." I write back, "Tomorrow, 3 p.m. sharp, our spot. Don't be late." Elle and Marcel each send back a thumbs up, and my heart slows. I head back to Nana Billy and convince her to run into the cold water for a swim. Out in the swells, I spread my arms and legs and neck out as far and wide as I can while floating like a star. "This is my natural habitat," I scream to the never-ending blue sky. "I belong here, and I like girls." Out of the waves, Nana screams back, "Me too!" When we finally swim our way back to shore, our black bodies glimmer like pearls in the sinking light. What a beautiful thing that elementary and middle-aged school kids can have access to such powerful reminders of how we need one another and how we need community. George Odell, in that reading from our gray hymnal, reminds us of how we need one another in times of joy and in times of struggle. And in this, one of my favorite books, by the way, Religion for Atheists by Alain de Botton. Botton writes, "We need institutions to foster and protect those emotions to which we are sincerely inclined, but which, without a supporting structure and a system of active reminders, we would be too distracted and undisciplined to make time for. We need community to remind us of our best selves, of who we're striving to be in the world, why it matters that we're human, and why it matters that we show up as our most loving and caring selves again and again and again." As we prepare for our congregational meeting this Sunday, may we remain gathered and rooted in that spirit.
Please turn to 1074 in the teal hymnal, Fire of Commitment, book 1028.
Thank you.
Beloveds, as we continue our time together this morning, may that fire of commitment, that passion for community remain lit in your heart and your spirit, in your soul, just as our chalice will also remain lit, reminding us of the sacredness of this time together. May we continue to be together in the spirit of love and peace, not just this morning, but in all our days. May it be so. Amen.